Good morning, Orange Nation. I'm Fernando GARCIA-FRANCESCHINI. Thanks for joining us for our very first Mornings on the Hill of 2019.
And I'm Olivia Proia. Here's a look at some of the stories we'll be talking about over the next hour.
New career services are coming to Falk, helping students through a more hands-on approach.
We'll tell you about an email tax scam that is floating around campus and what you can do to protect yourself.
And finally, a popular lecture series is back on campus. Find out how it's helping to bring our campus community together.
All that plus your weather and orange sports coming up on this edition.
Our top story this hour, one Syracuse professor is in the running to win nearly $200,000 for her project.
Mornings on the Hill's Ashton Hiron is live at the Quad to tell us more. Ashton, what's going on?
That's right, Olivia and Fernando. An assistant professor for communications design, Rebecca Kelly, has been named a finalist for a project that she's working on for the Artificial Intelligence and Open News Challenge.
And it takes 2 seconds to click on the author's name.
Scrolling through social media, Rebecca Kelly realized that many people were sharing fake news.
I started looking into the reasons behind people's inability or lack of willingness, I guess, to fact check.
Reasons that inspired her project, Decoding Democracy.
Maybe the key is accountability. So if people are held accountable and they're faced with the fact that they are sharing fake news, maybe it would slow down.
She's hoping to develop a program that would use artificial intelligence, AI, to warn people about what they're reading and sharing.
Instead of technology sort of overtaking our life without our control, I want to use it in the same regards to sort of help.
Kelly recognizes that some people already use popular fact-checking sites online, such as Snopes or PolitiFact. But her project is aimed at those who don't fact-check before they share a post or an article.
How my project is different than existing fact-checking is the person has to be willing to accept and be curious enough to fact-check.
But SU senior Haley Kim says it isn't always easy to tell what's true. She's writing her thesis on AI.
You know, AI can look exactly like a human journalist is writing. Like, people can't tell the difference.
And that's where Kelly's project comes in.
Literally no excuse for you not to know that you're sharing fake news.
Kelly will find out if she has won the grant money by the end of the month.
Now, Kelly can't exactly say what her final project will look like, but she did tell us that this is the biggest project that she's ever worked on. Reporting from the Quad, I'm Ashton Hiron for Mornings on the Hill.
Thank you, Ashton. And an office in Syracuse University is putting its New Year's resolutions to the test.
That's right, Fernando. We're talking about the Office of Multicultural Advancement, formerly known as Program Development.
According to members of the board, the change in name comes as a result of students not knowing what exactly the office is all about, and that is supporting Black and Latino students and fostering alumni involvement. To help with that, they have also recruited over 20 Black and Latino alumni to join the advisory board. This with hopes of creating more corporate partnerships.
Like students to find us more easily and connect with us for the programs that we do have for them. And we'd also like alumni to be able to find us. You know, everything from a concert, a gala.
Vassal says these changes are meant to help students find opportunities like scholarships and leadership programs. Multicultural Advancement is located on the second floor of 640 Skytop.
And now it's time to check your weather for today. Monday weather was perfect. Unfortunately, a little bit colder today. I don't know if you're going to be able to walk in shorts around.
This cold can leave as soon as it wants. Kendra Sheehan is...
Okay, we'll check back on the weather a little bit later on the show. And with more snow coming in the near future, Mayor Ben Walsh has announced a new partnership for sidewalk snow removal.
The Syracuse Common Council approved a contract with JSK Snow Services to clear snow from 40 miles of sidewalks considered heavily trafficked. JSK will receive $170,000 to plow sidewalks when there are more than 3 inches of snow.
Recently, a graduate director at Duke University stepped down after getting backlash for telling her students that they must limit their first language and practice speaking English in and out of the classroom.
NCC's Kayla Burton tells us what some Syracuse students have to say after their professors had a much different approach to recognizing them.
After speaking to a different number of international students, many were bothered after hearing about the incident that happened at Duke, but it didn't seem to hinder the good that goes on at Syracuse. Lucy's son is one of 4,113 students coming all the way from China. Lane Henson is another student from Germany, both who heard about the Duke incident, about making their home language prominent and instead to only use English.
I think it's none of their business. I mean, if I speak my own language, really, I am probably talking about something that I don't want to talk about in public. And I have a privilege to do so. I have another language that I can talk. And I think that it's just nobody's business what language I speak in.
But for Sun, she has a different takeaway from the incident. Instead of seeing the bad outside of her classroom, she sees the good inside through her own version.
I do have a story to share. Just this morning when I went to my 8 o'clock class, and it's a Finance 600 class in Whitman. And at the end of the class, and it's 9:20 in the morning, the professor said it's Chinese New Year today, and I have prepared the cards, especially made in the color of red, which is the most important color and the most used color in the Chinese culture. And he gave all of us. There's about like 20 to 25 of us in that classroom. We all got this card, and then it has this cube in the middle of it, and then you will scratch it, and then a very beautiful sentence would come up.
Sun said she and her classmates had a wonderful Chinese New Year thanks to the Syracuse professors who made it special. Kayla Burton, live from Mornings on the Hill.
And coming up on Mornings on the Hill, Syracuse Whitman students can go to work in some new orange style. See how the business school is working on a new clothing venture.
Plus, we'll see what students across campus are talking about. Jalat Malamed fills us in with that morning buzz when Mornings on the Hill returns.
And welcome back. I'm Kendra Sheehan with your weather update. It is bit chilly outside right now, 30 degrees colder today. Yesterday at this time we were sitting mid-50s and now we're in the 20s. However, it is dry outside. Those conditions will begin to deteriorate as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. As we take a look at the forecast for the rest of the day, the clouds are not going away. The temperatures will rise into the upper 30s through the midday and into the evening. However, we will see rain starting around lunchtime, continuing into the evening hours. Some icy rain is expected, putting Onondaga County on a winter weather advisory, beginning at noon all the way until 10 p.m. tonight, which could affect that evening commute home. About 1/4 inch of ice accumulation could be expected in areas of higher elevation through east and north Syracuse. With the rain and ice, roadways could be slippery. Make sure that you allow extra time on the road if you are heading anywhere this evening. And be sure to grab that umbrella before heading out the door. And if you are on the roads, be sure to use extra caution as we head into the evening hours with those icy conditions. Be sure to check back in at 10:30 for a look at your 5-day weather forecast. I'm Kendra Sheehan, live from Mornings on the Hill. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you for that information, Kendra. Try to stay warm. The Martin J. Whitman School of Management may be breaking away from orange and moving to some more neutral colors in their clothing line, that is.
Soon you'll be seeing some new Whitman Apparel in the SU bookstore and on the school's business site. They're planning to sell clothes that can be worn at internships and work, along with t-shirts and other apparel sold now. Rachel Melvin, who's a retail intern on the project, says students want to look more formal while representing their school.
Business school, we want to look professional. We want to aid our students with professional wear, professional material that they can have. And they also want the students to carry this, the brand and the legacy of Whitman with them when they go off into their business careers as well. So it's really just elevating that brand image and almost kind of revamping it.
Melvin says they are now in the process of choosing clothing items and are even considering using some name brands.
And online graduate programs offered by the iSchool and the College of Engineering and Computer Science have made the top 12 of best information technology programs for 2019.
According to the U.S. News rankings, the programs that make the list are those that best suit life and career goals of graduate students. Some of the programs that made the rankings include cybersecurity, computer science, information management, and computer engineering. School officials say the plan is to continue growing to fit the needs of digital learners.
Good morning, I'm Gilat Mohammed here with your Orange Buzz. It's that time of year when a lot of people on campus are talking about basketball. People have been tweeting this morning, but they didn't wake up too happy after last night's 18-point loss to Florida State. Steve here definitely not happy. He said what a disappointing game last night for Cuse, and he thinks the team did poorly because Pascal Chukwu and Frank Howard did poorly. Now over here we have Alex, and he was a little more upset. He said he was so defeated after last night's game, he didn't even have enough time to go on a Twitter rant. I don't know how you don't have enough time to go on a Twitter rant. You must be very upset about the game, that means. But it really has been a roller coaster of a season, and I'd have to agree that they are maybe better suited for the road. After all, they did beat #1 Duke on the road just a few weeks ago. So again, definitely a roller coaster of the season, like John pointed out. Now, Kayla, though, that #1 win wasn't enough for her. She thinks that they're going to be destined for the NIT tournament. No faith in her team. But Scott over here, he has a lot of faith in the team. He says they will be getting an at-large bid. We'll have to wait until March to find out. But college basketball certainly is a crazy ride. This person pointed out Duke beats FSU, Cuse beats Duke, and then FSU beats Cuse. So overall, I mean, it's really just been a crazy season so far. But to find out more about what exactly went wrong in last night's game, stick around for Daniel Booth's full sportscast at 10:30. For Mornings on the Hill, I'm Gilat Mohammed.
As good as Syracuse football was and as popular as basketball is, Syracuse's greatest success comes on the lacrosse field.
Our Faith Cain is live in studio to talk with a special guest to talk about the upcoming spring season for women's lacrosse.
Thanks. I'm joined this morning by Lila Nazarian. Lila is a junior lacrosse player here on the Hill. The team is now 2 days away from opening up its season back in the Carrier Dome. Lila, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, so junior year, about to start your game in 2 days. How do you feel?
We're super excited. It's always exciting to start off the season home in the Dome. But yeah, we feel really prepared. We're ready to start our season off, especially against a really good team like UConn.
All right, so last year was a little rough for you guys. 1-6 in the ACC, finished below 500, first time since 1998. How do you plan to turn that around?
I think we spent a lot of time in the offseason talking about our culture and our chemistry. We want to be better prepared this year. I mean, obviously, our fall season last year with the Mumps didn't go quite as we planned, but overall, I think we just focused on being better prepared, making sure everyone's healthy and ready to play when it's time to get back out there.
All right, then also last year, 2018, you did make the NCAA tournament, though, even though after a little bit of a rough start. But you ended first round, double overtime against Princeton. Do you have a little bit of a pit in your stomach?
I do, yeah. We had beaten Princeton in the regular season. They're always a really good team. They always come out really strong. So we were really hoping to be able to beat them, but unfortunately we didn't. But yeah, I think that just comes down to being more prepared this year and being ready to execute in high pressure situations like that. I mean, we weren't strangers to overtime during that season. We had, I think, 5 or 6 overtime games. So that really just comes down to being prepared and being able to execute when it really comes down to it.
All right, and then also your preseason ranked number 15. How do you expect to kind of go out there on Friday against UConn and just have a great season?
Yeah, I mean, I think we expect to go out like we always do, you know, with a little bit of a chip on our shoulder. We have a little bit to prove from last year, but we also know that we know what we're capable of, we know what we can do. So we're excited. We take that 15 seed as a challenge to move up.
All right, then also this year it's a little bit different. You're sponsoring a young girl named Maddie. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Maddie's amazing. She's a little girl from around the area. She just turned 4. She is a member of the Team Impact charity. We're sponsoring her as an honorary teammate this season. And she's amazing. She lights up all of our days. She's so funny. But yeah, she's our honorary teammate. We had our signing day for her last week. and we're really excited to have her be part of our season this year. We like to call her our secret weapon. I think she's going to have a really big impact on us.
And then how is she going to affect you guys on Friday? How's she inspiring you guys?
I mean, honestly, her positivity and her energy really are contagious to us. She's always really excited to be there. She's excited to see us and to cheer for the team. That really just gives us an extra boost and something else to be really excited about, to share that with her. Yeah.
And then going into Friday, what are your team goals this year?
I think we really does go back to chemistry and culture. If we want to work together, we want to everyone to do their role the best that they can. We want to work hard for each other. I think that's really what it's going to come down to. We're all really excited to play, so if we can execute our game plan and do it together, I think we'll have success.
And then how do you plan to achieve these goals?
I think, again, it just comes back to culture, honestly. We've spent a lot of time bonding as a team and getting to know each other and figuring out how we best work together. So we've really spent a lot of time on that at practice, working on communication, making sure that we're communicating through all parts of every drill, even the ones that we do every day that are kind of monotonous, but we really have focused on communicating with each other and also listening and kind of building that really strong team bond so that we can execute our game plan the way we need to.
Now, since last year was just a little bit rough, how are you using the communication? How are you developing that this year compared to last year?
I think we're just holding ourselves to a higher level of discipline. There are times when it's easy to, when you don't necessarily need to communicate, or it's easy to kind of forget it and let it slack off. So I think we're putting ourselves at a higher level. We're holding ourselves to a higher standard in terms of executing those little things right every day, as opposed to just, during games or when it absolutely matters. So we're building those habits kind of from the ground up.
All right, thanks Lila so much. You can catch Lila and the Orange in the Carrier Dome for their season opener against Connecticut at 3 p.m. Thanks again. I'm Faith Cain, live in the studio.
Mornings on the Hill. A group of SU robotics students take their talents to sumo wrestling.
Stay with us. That story and more just ahead on Mornings on the Hill. Welcome back. While watching sumo wrestlers may be entertaining, have you ever thought about sumo wrestling robots? Well, some SU students got the chance to design their own robots and then test them out against one another.
Our Tamar Turner joins us live in studio with the story.
Thanks, guys. Yes, you heard it correctly. Nowadays, robots are starting to be able to do it all. And under the guidance of students, you'll now see their skills in the ring.
And the fact that it's a competition gets you more into it, gets you motivated to build it and try to beat your classmates.
Professor Yevgeny Yevlevsky teaches a robotics course here at SU, but takes it up a notch with his students in a friendly competition.
We required them to have the robots be under 5 pounds. They had to be able to fit inside of a 10-inch by 10-inch by 6-inch box, and all of them had a $300 budget.
But the class isn't about all competition. Yes, students do enjoy themselves, but they take away a lot more than just fun and games.
Robotics is so daunting at first, and then it's classes like these that allow you to understand there's nothing to be afraid of. Try, fail. It's a lot of trying and failing.
Engineering students are excited with the direction that SU is moving in to be up to date on the latest topics.
We have a lot more faculty coming up who will be able to introduce students to a lot more hands-on experiences such as this one. So I think that we are well represented.
And to all students out there debating on if they should take a course or let it pass them by,
I think that everyone should try to take a class that challenges them and puts them into a new perspective. And I think this is a class that if engineers want to try something new, I think this is a class to do that.
Now, some students are still looking forward to participating in additional competitions outside of SU to gain more experience. Reporting live in studio for Mornings on the Hill, I'm Tamar Turner.
Thank you, Tamar. And Dinosaur Barbecue is known as one of the most famous barbecue joints here in Central New York, and they might become even bigger now.
The restaurant has announced a new line of anti-love drinks in honor of Valentine's Day, and one of them is called Thank You Next. The drink is named after Ariana Grande's song about her ex-fiancé, Pete Davidson, who called Syracuse trash.
Well, Dino released an image of the drink saying, "We added a drink, thank you next, just for you, Pete."
Obviously, if Pete thinks Syracuse is trash, he didn't go to Syracuse Dinosaur Barbecue.
No.
Oh my goodness, Dinosaur Barbecue.
Yeah, no, he definitely did not. I could go to Dinosaur Barbecue like right after this.
Oh, I'm there with you. And you know
Breakfast,
what? Those
lunch,
drinks
dinner.
are perfect for me because I am as anti-Valentine's Day as it comes.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Why? Is there
I
like
think
a
it's a Hallmark holiday. It's kind of made up.
Yeah.
I'm like a Thanksgiving, Christmas classic kind of girl.
Okay, yeah, that definitely makes sense. And I think I somewhat like feel like you. And well, that will do it for us this morning. I'm Fernando Garcia-FRANCESCHINI.
And I'm Olivia Proia. Thank you for tuning in. But don't go away. A brand new Mornings on the Hill continues right after the break with Abby Friedman and Michelle Houston.
Good morning, I'm Abigail Friedman. Thanks for joining us for Mornings on the Hill.
And I'm Michelle Houston. Here's a look at some of the stories we'll be talking about in our second half hour.
New career services are coming to Falk, helping students through a more hands-on approach.
We'll tell you about an email tax scam that is floating around campus and what you can do to protect yourself.
And finally, a popular lecture series is back on campus. Find out how it's helping to bring our campus community together.
All that plus your weather and orange sports coming up on this edition of Mornings on the Hill.
Our top story this half hour is about a new career services office on campus.
Our Naiya Brooks joins us live in studio to talk about the grand opening and new services that students can expect.
Thank you, Abigail and Michelle. The new Falk College Career Services office is up and running with resources tailored to meet students' needs. The office has already set up events and programs that will help students with things like finding jobs and internships.
We started in September, started to get the program off the ground and running, and now we're officially launching for this spring semester.
David Sly is the Associate Director of Falk College's new Career Services Office, which was set up through the Invest Syracuse initiative. The office plans to take a hands-on approach to helping students launch their careers.
Give them the same types of help with resume cover letter assistance, helping them with networking opportunities, coaching on how to get through interviews to be successful.
To celebrate the new Falk Career Services, staff decided to host a grand opening with plenty of engagement and volunteer opportunities. Over 30 on-campus and off-campus organizations set up tables offering information to freshmen and sophomores on potential internships and other resources.
There's a lot of resources just in the Syracuse area, and specifically the Shaw Center. That's a place where you can find placement for internships, and they can provide transportation for some internships. So that was kind of a resource that I didn't really know about and have explored more through this experience.
Events like these and others will be available all year with the primary focus of students leaving SU well prepared to make society a better place. The next Falk Career Services event is coming up on Friday. Upperclassmen will have the opportunity to meet alum and employers. For Mornings on the Hill, I'm Naiya Brooks.
Thanks so much, Naiya. It's time for another check on your weather for today.
Kendra Sheehan is live to show us what to expect. Kendra?
Thanks, Abby and Michelle. It is a bit chilly out right now, temperature sitting in the mid-20s, but other than that, it is clear conditions right now, nice and dry outside. That will change as we head into your evening hours. We're going to start to see some icy rain. That's going to create some slippery conditions for your evening commute home. Now let's jump ahead and look at our 5-day forecast. That rain we'll see tonight will stop and temperatures will warm up tomorrow, hitting the low 50s. Friday, the warmer weather will continue as there is a chance for morning showers. This weekend, the sun will finally peek out of the clouds for a bit, and Saturday and Sunday, the temperatures will drop, though, once again into the upper 20s and low 30s, but should be an overall dry weekend. Let's take a closer look, though, at when this icy rain is expected for today. Right around noon, the rain will begin, not stopping until late in the evening. East and North Syracuse are the areas that will really be affected by some of the ice accumulation, creating slick spots on the roadways and sidewalks. Now, this winter advisory will begin at noon and end around 10 p.m. The sleet will cause a little bit of problems for your evening commute home, so drivers should use extra caution when going on ramps and roadways, and expect some traffic delays. Live outside Syracuse, Kendra Sheehan, Mornings on the Hill. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Kendra. Icy rain does not sound good, but I know everyone is waiting for their W-2s to arrive. But before you do anything, you should be aware of email tax scams that are floating around.
These phishing emails try to convince students to click on a hyperlink for their W-2s. SU Information Security Officer Christopher Croad says tax season is when hackers, who he calls bad guys, takes advantage of people.
This is when the bad guys specialize in knowing when the proper time to attack is. And this is it, because people are thinking about taxes. And they'll play on people's wallets, they'll play on their emotions to try to get them to do things.
IT Services says students should not click on the hyperlink in the email. They say the university's payroll department will not send any links in exchange for your W-2s.
And a popular lecture series is back for a third semester at SU.
The 6-week session, Understanding Islam, is open to all students as well as members of the community.
The purpose of the lecture series is to provide insight into Islam, which is practiced by over 1 billion people. Meetings will be held on Mondays from 6 to 7:30 p.m. in the Byrd Library. Chaplain at Hendricks Chapel, Amir Durek, says being educated on different cultures can bring us closer together as a community.
Getting to know other people is a great opportunity to overcome assumptions, stereotypes that we have towards each other, and that's why it's crucial that we really build strong community among each other.
For those interested in attending, you can email Durek to register. You can reach him at duric@syr.edu.
And juniors have an opportunity to apply for an annual scholarship that is very important to Syracuse University.
The Remembrance Scholarships are awarded to 35 seniors who show strong leadership and service to the community. This is to honor the students who died in the bombing of Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland in 1988.
The applications have gone live and are due by next Friday, February 15th. You can find information on the SU homepage under Scholars. Coming up here on Mornings on the Hill, SU Food Services received an award. Find out what PETA thinks of SU's dining hall menu.
Also coming up, we'll talk SU basketball and look forward to lacrosse season set to start this Friday. Stay with us for these stories and much more on Mornings on the Hill.
Mornings on the Hill, great news for vegans and vegetarians who eat on campus. SU Dining Services earned an A+ from PETA.
But this is not the first time Dining Services received this grade. It's actually the 3rd year.
PETA has several criteria for grading some of them. Some of them includes offering at least one vegan entree at every meal, promoting vegan options, labeling those vegan entrees and desserts, and here's an interesting one, participating in Meatless Mondays.
Morning, I'm Sam Carter, and I'm joined this morning by Syracuse senior Drew Carter. Drew works, among other places, with Citrus TV, WAER, and Z98. If you were to say, hey, Mr. Carter, where have you been? He would say, Atlanta and back again. Drew, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Sam. Great last name, by the way.
Yeah. Well, let's clear something up right off the top. Everyone at Syracuse is talking about this. It's probably going to be on the cover of the Orange. You and I are not related.
Not at all. I wish.
No, totally.
That'd be a dream come true,
yeah,
but we are not related.
We are absolutely in no way related.
But funny stories, I know Connor told you this earlier, you actually have the same name as my sister.
Yeah,
what a small world.
No, totally. And I often would tell my mother growing up, why did you name me a unisex name? It was the bane of my existence growing up. But enough about my Freudian upbringing.
Yeah.
You had an exciting week last week.
Not bad.
Why,
Not bad.
Why don't you tell everybody what you did, where you were, what was going on?
Yeah, so basically we went down to Atlanta for the week of the Super Bowl. For people who aren't sports fans, you probably know about the Super Bowl, which is obviously the biggest sporting event of the year in America. Yeah, it's basically a secular holiday, Super Bowl Sunday. So because it's such a big event on Sunday, what they do during the week leading up is they set up this thing called Radio Row, where big time people will go down and do shows from Monday to Friday, depending on whenever it is. Basically, they'll just pick up their entire shop and move it down to the site of the Super Bowl. So I said big time people. It also applies to small time college people because last year some people from St. Bonaventure went. One of my buddies here, Jonah Karp, went to high school with one of the guys who went to St. Bonaventure for the Super Bowl last year. He said, why can't we do that? We're Syracuse. We have the best broadcasting school in the country.
The world.
In the world, yeah, I'll say that's pretty fair. So we went down to the Super Bowl this year because Jonah put it together with our professor, Dennis Denninger, and it was an incredible experience.
Yeah. From what I've seen on TV, from what I gather, it's kind of like a teeming mass of technology and humanity.
Yeah.
What you experienced it firsthand, what was like the wildest part of it?
It's unbelievable, Sam. And people who have been on Radio Row before will tell you Monday and Tuesday are nothing. And we got there Sunday to set up some of our stuff. They'll say Monday, Tuesday, you ain't seen nothing yet, which was crazy to me because Sunday we get there to set up all our stuff. First guy I see is this dude, Clay Travis, who's a pretty famous guy from Fox Sports, right? Sports guy, you know who that is. So I see Clay Travis, I'm like, oh my goodness, if that's the first dude I see, who else are we going to see? But it is true because it kind of crescendos throughout the entire course of the week. Then you get to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I was telling someone earlier, Thursday morning, I walk in, first guy I see, Herschel Walker. One of the best college football players of all time.
And one of the most underrated MMA fighters of all time as well.
Still an MMA fighter, still could beat both of us up at the same time if he took us on 2-on-1.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's still huge, but that was just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, it is unbelievable. And the coolest thing about it, Sam, is Orange Mafia, Newhouse Mafia, it's true. I mean, it's so true. Orange is coursing through these people's veins.
Absolutely,
and we would sit down with people and they'd look at the camera and they'd just be like, Syracuse, what's up? Like they were so excited about just talking to Syracuse people and seeing like the next wave. So a lot of them said like, oh, we'll see you guys like here maybe 10, 20 years down the line, and then Syracuse kids will be interviewing you when you're pros. And that's kind of the goal. So that was really cool.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, you were saying everybody's walking around, everybody's doing their thing. List some exciting people you spoke to, some cool things you did while you were there. Like what was going on over there?
Yeah, so I guess to start with the exciting people, I mentioned Herschel Walker.
Yeah.
There was one day we were walking around trying to fill content for our radio show, maybe grab a couple of interviews. Walking around on a cell phone is Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice, probably the greatest football player of all time. And so we went up to the guy who was kind of floating around him, and we assumed he was his agent. We're like, hey, like total shot in the dark here. Like, sure, Jerry Rice is all booked up. But maybe can we grab him for like a couple minutes? He's like, obviously no. Like Jerry Rice has been booked for months in advance of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But we still, the fact that we were like 3 feet away from Jerry Rice is ridiculous. I mean, these are heroes for us. But the coolest thing about it is a lot of us, because it was 3 of us, it was me, Jonah Jackson, and then a Professor Dennis Denninger, we all want to be broadcasters for a living. So we're not quite as starstruck by the athletes as maybe the people we watch on TV, the people we want to be like one day.
Absolutely,
so talk about guys like Scott Hansen, Andrew Siciliano, the dueling Red Zone hosts, who are both Syracuse guys. They actually overlapped here at SU. That was awesome. We talked to them basically back to back. Kevin Harlan sat down on our radio show. And Sam, I'm telling you, his voice, it sounds so fake because no one can really talk like that. That's what you think. It's so genuine.
Yeah.
It's so real. He sat down. He was so excited. He didn't even go to Syracuse. He went to Kansas. But he was so pumped. There was one time he was like, I love your guys' voices. Like, I always tell everyone to do radio because that's how you get set up for success. Who is that host on NBC she just left? I was like, Megyn Kelly? He's like, yeah, I love Megyn Kelly. She did radio. And Jonah goes, she's another Syracuse person. He goes, oh, another Syracuse person. He was so, you would have thought LeBron had just thrown down like a 360 dunk in the finals with how Kevin Harlan was talking. He was just so excited. And it kind of proves a point that I think you kind of learn when you go through this industry and trying to learn to be in this industry is that you don't make it big unless you're a genuinely good person. And so we talked with all those people, and that certainly was the case.
100%. All right. Drew, thanks so much for joining us. I'm Sam Carter for Mornings on the Hill.
Good morning. I'm Daniel Booth with your Mornings on the Hill Orange Sports Update. The Syracuse men's basketball team welcomed the 22nd ranked Florida State Seminoles into the Carrier Dome last night. The Orange had won 5 of their last 6 games and were coming home after a short road trip, but their ACC rivals were looking to spoil their return to the Carrier Dome. O'Shea Brissett kicking it out, Elijah Hughes knocking it down. Elijah Hughes, one of the main cogs on the Syracuse team. But Florida State's 3-point shooting from Walker would not be denied. Florida State was on fire from 3 all night, and that was certainly a trend. Tyus Battle doing what he does best, the pump fake, gets it for 2. We're going to go right back to Tyus Battle, who gets a nice little entry pass right there. Outlet, the pull-up jumper, it is good. Syracuse was solid throughout most of this game, but Florida State had some issues as well, holding on to the lead in the second half. Now, Having said that, their three-point shooting with the fortuitous bounce right there was the main story in this one. Too much for Syracuse for sure, as the Orange fell to the Seminoles 80-62.
But they're a really good team, and you can't give a team 20 and think you're going to come back. We made probably the best effort we've made all year long to get back in the game. But they're good, they're strong, physical, and they're just too much at the end of the game.
They're a great team. They know how to play, they know how to stay aggressive, and a lot of guys on the team were really pushing and going for anything they can. So I feel like everyone on the team did a great job, helping in some way.
This Thursday, the 15th ranked Syracuse women's basketball team is traveling to Louisville to take on the number 3 ranked Cardinals. Syracuse is coming off an impressive win against Virginia last week, but the Orange will need to bring their game to a new level in order if they want to be able to pull off this upset. Against Virginia, star point guard Tiana Mangakahia tallied 16 points and 14 assists. Her passing ability was on full display, creating opportunities for almost all of her teammates. The Orange were hot from 3 in this game, and they'll need to stay hot in order to keep pace with the soaring Cardinals offense. Syracuse needs major contributions from Digna Strawmana in the paint, Miranda Drummond from behind the three-point line, and the rest of the supporting cast. Tip is set for 7 p.m. tomorrow night. Syracuse lacrosse is back this Friday. The women's team kicks off their season against Old Big East rival UConn at 3 p.m., shortly followed by the men battling Colgate at 7. Both teams are looking to bounce back after falling short of their championship hopes last season. It's National Signing Day, and Syracuse head coach Dino Babers, freshman defensive back Andre Sisco, John Wildhack will be live at Manley Fieldhouse for the taping of the National Signing Day show, hosted by the voice of the Orange, Matt Park. The event starts at 4 p.m., and seating is limited. That's your sports update. Thanks for sticking around. I'm Daniel Booth.
I'm Gilad Malamed, and here's what's going on this weekend here on the Hill. Tomorrow, the Moynihan Institute at the Maxwell School is hosting a panel on Latin America and the Caribbean. Grad students from the Anthropology, English, and Geography department will be giving the talk. It's from 9 a.m. to 10:30 in Eggers Hall if you want to get a head start on your weekend. Since it's not 60 degrees in February anymore, Orange After Dark is going snow tubing on Friday. Buses leave for Greek Peak Mountain at 9 p.m. and tickets are $3 at the Shine box office. But if you want to leave the snow pants at home, head over to HBC Auditorium at 11 p.m. to see A Star is Born with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. Good news is both of the events will be happening Saturday night too, so you have the chance to do both. If last night's men's basketball loss still has you down, the Orange will be back in action on Saturday against Boston College. Tip-off is in the Carrier Dome at 2 p.m. And to cap off the weekend, the women will also be taking on BC. The Orange are number 15 in the AP poll. Same time, same place for that game, guys. 2 p.m. in the Carrier Dome, so definitely busy weekend, lots going on. And that's all for your mornings on the Hill. For your weekends on the Hill, I'm Gilad Malamed.
All right, sounds good. I'm so excited. I've got my ticket for the weekend. Do you?
Me too, yeah, I'll be at that game.
All right, excellent. Well, Yeti Frozen Yogurt on Westcott Street is home to the new Chicken Wing Donut.
Chicken Wing Donut. Just Donuts was a small donut shop that used to be in Phoenix and is now in the same store as Yeti Frozen Yogurt. Their new name is Yeti Frozen Yogurt and Just Donuts. Surprising. Customers who come into the business in the afternoons will be able to make their own donut sundaes, mix in fried dough with any flavors of yogurt.
Oh my gosh, doesn't that sound awesome?
That sounds good.
I love donuts and I love chicken
wings.
wings.
I love donuts too, but after the Super Bowl, I think I need to hit the gym before going for the donuts.
Yeah, maybe one of those ski resorts like Landon was talking about.
Yes, cross-country skiing is a great workout.
It's free for us. I saw some people sweating out there. I think we can make the most of it. Cross-country skiing, chicken wing donuts. We can make that happen, ladies.
I love donuts. I'll try it, but I'm usually like a plain, glazed donut girl. I don't really like all the sprinkles.
Not the Yeti, the sprinkles, the friedness.
It's too much for me, but I'll try it.
Yeah.
So, Landon, are you going to be heading out on the skis this weekend?
Oh, you bet. I mean, if I'm going to keep up, well, no, not going to keep up. If I'm going to get a good figure, we're going to make it happen out there, maybe leg day every day,
Right, and you could go snow tubing too with Orange After Dark at it.
Dang right.
Get both in.
As students, might as well, we might as well make it happen.
Absolutely. Take advantage of all that free stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for us this Wednesday here on Mornings on the Hill. I'm Abigail Fridman. Follow us on social media.
And I'm Michelle Houston. Thanks for watching Orange Nation. We'll see you next Wednesday live at 10 a.m. right here on OTN.